Fans were very excited for the return of Toronto Raptors basketball, but that excitement quickly faded away as the Raptors got absolutely blown out by the Charlotte Hornets, and it might showcase that this injury is much more important than we originally thought. Let's get into it. Welcome NBA Raptors fans to Amateur Hour Sports, the channel with dedicated Toronto Raptors basketball content at least 4 times a week on YouTube. So if you like the Toronto Raptors and you're going to love Amateur Sports, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. Help us on a road to 9,000 subscribers, and I promise you will not regret it with all the great Raptors content coming your way. But let's talk about the injury at hand and the game that we saw last night. So it was revealed in the middle of the day that OG Anunoby had actually fractured his right ring finger. It must have been something that occurred before the All-Star break that had been bugging him, and now he's deciding to get the treatment necessary for that injury. It seems like he's going to miss a little bit of time. And initially when I saw that, I was upset. OG Anunoby offensively is in a little bit of a slump, but defensively, he always brings a lot to the Raptors. Even though I think he's been worse defensively this season than last season, he still brings a ton to the table and is vastly important for the Raptors. And maybe this result against the Charlotte Hornets kind of points towards how important OG Anunoby is to the team, because the Raptors were absolutely dismantled yesterday, like just completely and utterly dismantled. I think it was even worse than the New Orleans Pelicans game where we got blown out there, because nothing went right. Nothing offensively went right and nothing defensively went right. Like literally nothing on defense was working for the Raptors, and the Charlotte Hornets just continuously exposed us throughout the entire 48 minutes. It seemed like whatever they wanted to make happen, they made happen. Before the game, I was kind of talking about the injury, thinking about, okay, if I had to lose one of the 5 starters, would it probably be OG Anunoby right now? And I think that it might have been, but maybe seeing this game made me realize the profound impact that he brings to this team defensively. Let's look at how the Raptors have fared this season when OG Anunoby doesn't play. It's a decent sample size, but in the 16 games OG Anunoby has been missing, the Toronto Raptors have only won 6 of those games. They turn the ball over a lot. They allow a pretty good opposition field goal percentage at about 45%, and the point differential as well is something that is a little bit alarming. So the Raptors have had some struggles when OG Anunoby is missing, and I think I can pinpoint exactly why that is, because OG Anunoby one-on-one defensively this season, I think that he's been a little bit underwhelming to the very high expectations that Raptors fans, and myself included, would have for him. But sometimes a player is so good defensively that it's not necessarily about getting steals or blocks or just a one-on-one defense. It could just be the fact that your job as a defender is to make sure your player doesn't even get the shot off, doesn't even get the look, because you're always so well positioned. And a testament to that was yesterday how PJ Washington and Terry Rozier were consistently open for 3. Like PJ Washington in the second quarter was open for 3 time and time again. And Scotty Barnes was just finding it very difficult to go pick up and close out on shooters. But I think when OG Anunoby is available and in the game, those sort of plays just don't happen to begin with. The player is just not really open to begin with, or the player gets open, but OG is there so quickly to close out that maybe the shot, the 3-pointer just doesn't even happen. So as the Raptors went through this game, they continuously just had absolutely no answer on defense. It forced Nick Nurse to actually go into a zone defense, which usually encourages the 3-pointer, which was working so well for the Hornets, but he just simply had no choice because the Raptors were they had absolutely no structure defensively. It was an embarrassing performance from the Raptors. Scotty Barnes looked lost on defense. Thaddeus Young looked like he had no idea what he was doing. Maybe a little bit understandable because he's new. Delano Banton, in his brief cameo in the second quarter, literally just ran cardio trying to run after LaMelo Ball, but couldn't keep up with him. It was an absolutely shocking performance all the way around. And maybe we want to pin this on OG Anunoby, but I think this goes beyond just that. Obviously, OG Anunoby is a loss, but you have to figure out how to win games when players are injured. The Raptors, we always say there's a next man up attitude, so you have to find ways to cope with it. I think this game, we're going to chalk it up to just straight up nobody played well. The best 2 players in the team who you expect to rise to an occasion, Siakam, apparently he had flu-like symptoms in the middle of the day. That's not a full excuse for his horrendous 3 for 13 shooting and only 8 points, but maybe we can talk about that. Fred VanVleet, not 100%. He was questionable going into the game, but decided to go through even with some niggling knee injury. But again, wasn't quite 100%. He didn't play particularly well. I thought he was sloppy in possession. I thought his shooting wasn't great, but maybe we can talk a little bit about that injury. I think those are kind of cop-out excuses because they just straight up didn't play well, but that could be a factor, and then nobody else was able to bail them out. Gary Trent was decent, but not quite up to the standards he set for himself. Scotty Barnes offensively gave us a ton. In fact, it was a career-high night for Scotty offensively in terms of his points, but defensively, I thought he was a huge liability, and despite an absolutely tenacious second quarter offensively, he had to get pulled out of the game because he wasn't picking up players and shooters on the other end of the court. You got to be able to play on both ends. Kem Birch was just like he was nothing. He didn't do anything. He was dropping passes. He was not getting rebounds. He was not playing defense, not helping on defense. He was an absolute disaster, and the bench wasn't any help as well. So, OG Anunoby, yeah, that's somebody who can really be that glue piece on defense and really hold your defense together, but I think this game is ultimately going to chalk up to the fact that the Raptors just were horrible in every sense of that game. I kind of got all my rage and emotions out in last night's post-game show on the Amateur Hour Clips channel, so I'm a little bit more reserved, a little bit more calm right now, but the good news is it's only one game. Whether you lose a game by 1 point, whether you lose a game by 30 points. And then the Raptors in this one, they were down by 41 points at one point to a Charlotte Hornets team who had come into this game having only won one of their last 10. I'm a little bit more calm now. It is only one game. The Raptors get to bounce back right away, hopefully, against the Atlanta Hawks tonight. Right after the game, just get it out of your memory and just focus on the next game. I think that's a good thing about a back-to-back sometimes, because if you're just outrageously bad in the first one, you don't have to dwell on it for very long. You just get going and get into the next game against the Atlanta Hawks. And the Raptors are really going to need that, and they are really going to have to figure out their defensive structure without OG Anunoby. As much as I said that other factors played a part, OG Anunoby is a huge and essential part of this Toronto Raptors defense in the way that they play. And without him available, they're going to have to figure out how they can pick up the pieces. And in order to do that, Siakam's going to have to be better. Fred VanVleet's going to have to be better. Scotty Barnes is going to have to be a lot better. And Kem Birch, who's probably going to be starting games because OG Anunoby's out, has really got to be better. But I have faith in this team. It's just very frustrating that we have such high highs, like an 8-game winning streak. And sure, every team, every player, they're going to have bad games every now and then, but the Raptors need to find a way to make sure that their bad games aren't this bad. Like at your lowest point, you can't be this low. Again, the Hornets had won one of their last 10 games. I know they had the All-Star break at a good time and they could regroup, but this is a Hornets team who struggles to win games right now, and they were surgical. Everything they wanted, everything Terry Rozier wanted, everything LaMelo Ball wanted, it seemed like they were able to get with a relative amount of ease. And if you're playing a game and Mason Plumlee can cross you over and slash to the rim for a highlight reel play, it's pretty much time to throw in the towel. And that is exactly what happened in the middle of the third quarter. So OG Anunoby's injury, offensively, he's in a slump, but I fully expect him to bust out of that slump. And defensively, we're just starting to see, I think, what he can really bring to this team. So hopefully that injury isn't too lengthy and he's back soon. But the Raptors are good enough to overcome that specific injury and get back on track. The Atlanta Hawks tonight do not have John Collins. I believe that they don't have DeAndre Hunter as well. It is a good opportunity for the Raptors to get a good result against a team, again, vying for a playing position just like the Charlotte Hornets. So big game tonight. I think the Raptors really do need a win to bounce back from this one before they have a home and away against the Brooklyn Nets. This is a key game. Got to come out. And if a blowout loss to the Charlotte Hornets doesn't light a fire underneath you and tell you that, hey, you need to start playing, I don't know what is going to do. I expect the Raptors to come out firing tonight. I expect the Raptors to win tonight. Excited to see that one. Make sure you're there for our watch party on Twitch at twitch.tv/amateursports. We always start our watch parties 30 minutes before the opening tip. I We'll see you there. Link in the description. That is all from me for today. What did you think of the game yesterday? What really went wrong? What was the biggest thing? And how important is OG Anunoby to this team defensively? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. That's it for this. Thank you so much again for watching this one. Please give a like on the video if you did enjoy. It goes a long way to supporting the channel. Helps reach some new viewers who may enjoy this Raptors content just like you. And if you're new to the channel, you're not a subscriber, and you want to stay up to date with all of these videos coming your way, then make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's completely free and easy for you to do, but it does help me out a ton, and I would greatly appreciate it. If you want to continue the conversation on the Raptors, make sure to check out our Discord as well with the link in the description, and I'll see you again next time for another video.